Hello, everyone. Welcome to TEP Direct this week. Before we start, make sure you share. Just a reminder, we are on Facebook. We are on YouTube as well. So share, 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 share. I'm so excited to start off this week again on the topic of our finances, credit, debit management. And I'm so excited. But before I get there, I just wanted to remind all of you what Tech Direct is about. So, Tech Direct, we come together as a platform to make sure within our community that we know what's going out there. So, on our services, our mission is to branch out any services such as catering, photography, hair braiding, you name it. We try our best at www.tepdirect.com to provide those resources for us. And we're also on social media on our Facebook and Instagram at tepdirect.com, at tepdirect as well. If you guys did not know, we also have merchandise. So just a reminder, we have our t-shirts, our sweatshirts, all available here for you at www.bonfire.storetepdirect.com. And yeah, for if you like to support us, these are ways that you can do that as well. And now, if you have a business, Tep Direct is a great connection where you can have your business just be on our platform as well. So be sure to get listed, and then you can also advertise with us. So yeah, we have an average of about 1,000 views. So it'll be a good opportunity to share your platform with us so that we can advertise it along our series. So today we are on the topic of debit management and credit, and we are having our guest of today. His name is Komla Diabo, and he's gonna help us a lot with financial literacy. So before I get into his bio, we're just gonna go into a short break, and then I'll introduce him when he's with us. Yes. So our guest for today, his name is Komla Ibe Diabo. He's originally born in Lome, Togo. He moved to the United States with his family in 2003 and actually dropped out of college to go to Europe and fulfill his dream of becoming a soccer player in 2013, 2017, in several leagues such as Portugal, Spain, Belgium, more countries. He works as a human resource associate on and off for the past 8 years. And now he's a full-time entrepreneur in network marketing in the network marketing profession. Financial literacy is his passion, and he really wants to take advantage of sharing what he's learned throughout his life, life-changing information to help many people realize their financial goals and dreams within the land of opportunity. So let us now welcome our guest, Mr. Diabo. Hi.
Hello, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are
Awesome,
you?
man. Thank you for the introduction. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing so good. I'm doing so well today. We are so excited to have you here with us because for the past week we've been talking about getting better with our financial literacy, whether it be credit and debit management, all that stuff. So we're so happy that you're here with us today. I know I read your bio, but is there anything else you'd like to let the other people know about yourself?
Well, pretty much that summarizes everything.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, I want to thank you guys for inviting me. This is my first time here, and this is a great platform. You know, I try to tune in every time you guys are on live. I think you guys doing an amazing thing, shining lights on some of our peers, entrepreneurs out there, or those who are just starting, or those who are already experienced. So I'm just very grateful for this platform, and I want to thank you for welcoming me on. And you've said everything. Everything is in the bio, and if there's anything else I left, I will share with you tonight.
No problem, no problem. So yes, one more time, I just want to let everyone know to please share this. This is information that you don't want to miss out on. So please be sure to share on Facebook and our YouTube channel. So yes, so without further ado, let's just start off with the first question.
Okay.
So yes, the first question is, how do I create a debit management plan?
A debt management plan. Okay, that's a good question. So when it comes to debt, first of all, you want to do your best not to get in debt, right?
Yeah.
But we live in a country where, we all know this country is actually built on debt. That's why USA still owes a lot of money to other countries. It's built on debt. That's just how the system works. So first thing you want to be able to avoid, to be able to afford the debt. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you accumulate so much debt that you dig yourself a hole. But when you have a debt, so let's take one kind of, let's take a simple one. Say you have a mortgage and a car note. Those kind of things, especially a mortgage, the highest contract you can sign for a mortgage is 30 years. And most of the time, the bank is banking on you not even making that payment complete. They're banking on you dying. Actually, that's
Hmm.
where the word comes from. When you see the word mortgage, it comes from a Latin root, and then you see the word mort. That means death.
Oh, wow, wow.
So
I
they
did
don't
not.
bank you. Yes, it comes from Latin and then French. So they actually bank on you not to make it alive to pay off your debt. You see, that way you could go on foreclosure and close on your home and then, dig yourself a big hole for the next generation. So when it comes to that, in our company, for example, which is called Financial Education Services, we have a program that helps you. So the way you want to go about it is you want to know your net worth. A lot of us talk about our income that we make from work, but you want to talk about your net worth. How much do you worth? So that means you want to subtract how much you owe minus how much you own. See the amount of money you bring in plus the amount of money that's going out. That's how much you're worth. So that's the first thing you want to know. Once you know that, then you want to see how much you're spending, how much you owe. You want to see how much you're spending monthly on everything that you're doing, whether it be
Mhm.
movies, what you eat, your kids, gas, everything. You want to actually write that down, you know. So that's how you start creating a budget. You want to create a budget first, and you start attacking your biggest debt, which is, let's take your mortgage. You start attacking that. Or in some cases, a lot of our peers, it's student loans. See? So you want to attack the biggest debt first, and you want to pay off that gradually because, there's something also called the interest, which is also another thing that drives you into more debt. But you want to attack the biggest debt first. And I can see you making a face because you can relate. I don't know.
I
But
know it's an
you
issue.
want you want to attack that first. So you first start by calculating what your net worth is, what you bring in minus what goes out, and then you want to put down everything you're spending. You want to put that on a piece of paper, create a budget, and then start attacking the biggest debt. So that's how you want to create a debt management plan.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think you mentioned a lot of things that a lot of times like we live in a country where like it's literally thrown at you to utilize this, but if you don't plan yourself properly, you might end
Right.
up being in a lot of big
So you feel
trouble.
you're
Yeah, and I think,
in trouble. Yep.
yeah, and previous weeks we talked about like, especially our community, like once they come to like from Togo to America, like this is a new thing introduced to them. So
Mhm.
it's like how do we properly manage it so that we can use it to our advantage, but not have it take
Right.
advantage of us?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And for communities like us, first, like for me, for example, when I came to America, I didn't come and stay at a place where somebody could have, helped me and teach me these things. So that also plays a big role. The person that's feeding you information. If they feed you the right information, you're gonna see yourself 10 steps ahead. But if you're gonna have to figure it out, by yourself, just like I did, it may take you 10 to 15 years. But it's all a learning experience. So that's why I'm very passionate about financial literacy, because I was the person I was looking for back then. So
Mm,
now I get to you see, so now I get to be the person who can help that person that just came in, that doesn't know anything about credit, that doesn't know how this works. So that's why I'm very passionate about that. That's good that you mentioned that.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, on to our next question. What is a debt settlement?
Debt settlement. So, just like in the definition, so you have a debt. And so, first of all, when you have a debt, let's say you have a debt that you're not being able to pay on. So that means you want to settle. So when it comes to settling your debt, you want to know that first it goes to what we call collection agency. Collection
Mm,
agencies, these guys will harass you. First of all, if you don't know the law, they will harass you, because there are laws that protect against debt collectors that will call you at any time, call your work. Some people come to your house, which is illegal. And I've experienced that in our French speaking community here, where a lady was very stressed out because this debt collector will come to her house, see her about the debt. And one day, just guess by the grace of God, I was at the house. So earlier, this person called about the debt, and she was just rambling and telling me, yeah, these people, they call about the debt every time. I'm tired of them. Okay. But guess what? 2 hours after, this guy comes and knocks on the door talking about collecting the debt. So I had to play like a lawyer, which I'm not. But since I know the rules, I know the laws, because you're not supposed to do that. So I was trying to get his name. So this is what you do when a debt collector is trying to harass you, because they do that to us. I figured out that us that have those, we have those last name. When they see our last name, they know that we're not from here, and they can
mm,
tell English is not our first language. So we're targeted. They feel comfortable to come into our private homes to put some fear in you so you can pay off your debt, and that's illegal. They do that a lot. So what you want to know, first thing, do not open the door for those strangers. Treat them like strangers, and get their names, get their company's name. When you start questioning them, that's when they leave you alone. You see? So you want to take care of that first. So debt settlement. So let's say it goes to collection agencies. You want to take care of it as soon as possible, because that's damaging your credit. You're going to need your credit in the future. So what you do is, when they start calling you, you pick up the phone. You want to ask them exactly what they're calling for. You don't want to, when they say you owe money on the phone, do not agree, even though you know you owe the money. But we still have to go by the laws. Do not agree that it is your money, that it
mm,
is your debt. Don't agree to that on the phone. Everything has, it still has to be investigated. Don't agree to it. What you want to do is tell them, send me everything that you're saying in a documented proof. Send it to my address. We're in America, everything has to be on paper.
right.
If it's verbal, it's not confirmed. So that's what you want to ask them. So once they send it to you, and you see that, okay, the debt is correct, you read everything. Okay, it is in your name, so and so. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, so here is what happens. A lot of people will, hurry up and go and pay the debt because they're just stressed about it. They just hurry up and pay it off. And this actually happened to me. So I had a collections, and I was stressed out about it. Went to the bank trying to borrow some money. The bank won't lend me money, so I went ahead and paid off the debt. And guess what? That actually dropped my credit score.
Mm,
So yes, it happens a lot of time. So that's when I came to find out, when you have a debt that goes to collections, it takes 7 to 10 years for the credit bureaus to choose to remove it. So when you leave that debt, let's say for 1 year, 2 year, it gains interest, and then you go back and start paying it, it's gonna set the clock back 7 years because everything is computer. It's based on the software. It's not a person behind a keyboard typing and deciding. It's all based on the computer. So whether you owe 1 cent or a million, it doesn't matter to the computer. It's when you're taking action on that debt, trying to pay it off, it goes all the way back. So first, you want to get that collection removed. First, when you remove a collection off your credit report, it makes your credit goes up. And now you can call back the credit agency to start paying your debt. Now you can negotiate to the point where you don't have to pay the whole debt. So that's how you take care of it, so it can save you money and it can save your credit score as well.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I think you said things that I did not even know, like, because they come off as professional people, you understand? So, like, you would
Yeah,
think that you have to comply with them. So that's really
yeah,
interesting
exactly,
for us to know. So we have a question here from the
exactly.
audience. It says, how do you get collection
Okay,
removed? Like, what is the process?
right. Good question. So when it comes to collections, one thing you want to know is every American has the right to dispute, which means you send letters to dispute that collections uh, item of your credit report. So, but right now you have 70 million Americans that still have 599, and they have below 599 credit score because they still have those errors or collections on their credit report that they don't know how to dispute, or they don't have time to do it because it's very, very
Mhm.
tedious. It takes, you have to be organized, you have to follow every steps. It takes time. So they don't do it. So, first I want you to know that you can actually dispute it yourself. And then second, in our company, we have attorneys. They have more than 45 years experience in this business, and they're the one that will actually send dispute letters. They will send them, and once the credit bureaus receive it, by law they have between 45 to 90 days to investigate. They have to investigate if everything on your credit report is correct. So, and what you want to know is the reason to do that is because I give you an example. We disputed somebody's collections where it's a son. Well, in their household, the son and the father have the same name. The only difference is the son is a junior. You see,
Right.
but the debt is in the father's name, but they put it in the junior's name, and it's not his debt.
Mhm.
So that junior is a big error. Credit bureaus have to be very, very, very clean and precise when it comes to maintaining, um, the exact information in the credit bureaus. So you dispute collections, you get them removed. We get them removed by disputing them aggressively, so those credit bureaus can remove them. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned that you can dispute you can dispute something like this yourself, but say if like you're not equipped to do it yourself, who do you reach out to?
Okay. Good question. So a lot of people will reach out to us. So that's when we come in.
Okay.
Because I myself, I went through the same process. I started disputing it. So before I even started in this program, I was studying credit because my initial purpose was I was going to study credit and then I'm just going to translate it because we have a big French speaking community here. So I was just going to be translating it and do YouTube videos and just sharing it so everybody can know. But when I was disputing my stuff, it took a lot of time on me too. So I wasn't able to finish it. That's where I went to this company and they helped me get those stuff off. So a lot of people come to our company and we help them with those. That's how they can get it removed. Yes.
Okay. So we have a question from the audience from Adam. It says, I'm curious to know the ballpark of your clients that understand their rights under Regulation Z. Do you have any
Mhm.
sort of data points on this that you're willing to share? So I'm guessing like any references that they can further look into, online resources.
Hmm. When it comes to disputing negative items, I think. Is that what he means, or curious to know? Is that what the question is for?
I believe
How
it's
does
understanding rights under Regulation Z. And I believe also with like this, since we were on the topic of like disputing, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So about reference, you know, so I guess the question is he wants to know like where I can reference him to do more research on how to remove collections or
Like any data, yeah. So yeah.
any data like that. I can
Yes.
provide our website, and also the sole reference I will reference you to will be the CCSA website, which is for credit consultant, which is where you could go and actually get sound information, correct information when it comes to disputing items, or where it comes to
Mhm.
the laws pertaining the when it comes to credit. I would say that's where you want to go.
Oh, okay. What was the website again?
CC CCAS.com. Let me make sure. Let me double check that. Yes, CCSA. Oh, wait. Let me make sure I get that correctly.
And then also your own
CC.
website as well.
Yes. Our website is financial education services.com. FES, financial education services.com.
Yeah, so this should be a resource. Everyone in the audience, if you're curious about what to do about collection, debts, and anything regarding that, this is a great resource, financialeducationservices.com.
Yes.
So, yes. All right, so let's just, leave it at that. And let's just take a 30-second break and then we can get to our next questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we are back. We are back. So
Okay.
our next question is, what are strategies to build good debt?
Good question. Good question. So, good debt. So, first, the definition of a good debt simply is debts that you can afford. So, strategies to build good debts. Well, you want to invest into more assets when it comes to building good debts. You want to have more assets than liabilities. That's how you can build good debts, because when you have more assets, you have more things to leverage when you go into the bank to use their money and invest it with other things. So um, to build good debts, so I will give an example for, I don't know, when it comes to assets, definitely real estate. Real estate in America is a good way to build wealth. That way you can leverage that to acquire more good debts. And besides real estate, businesses. A lot of you guys on this platform are entrepreneurs or looking to become entrepreneurs. And when you become an entrepreneur, not only do you decide, how to run your business, you also get tax advantages, a lot of tax advantages. So that's also going to minimize your debts. You get back money when it comes to tax season. You get a lot of money back. I mean, that depends on how you set up your business. And stocks as well. You want to look into stocks to make more, to create more asset, to create more income. That way you can leverage that and go and get some more good debts. So you want to, when it comes to building good debts, you always want to look into assets, more than liabilities, because liabilities are going to drown you into debt. But when you acquire more assets, you can leverage that to build good debts.
Okay. So those are really all good examples of good debt. But just to further it more, like how can a business owner or an entrepreneur or a person who's getting into real estate make sure they're on track for good debt? So yeah, we have a question here saying, is real estate good debt?
That's a vague question. What part of real estate? Are you owning a home? Acquiring a building? So real estate, you have a lot of strategies in real estate. You have a lot of strategies in real estate. Let's say, okay, let's take an example where somebody wants to owning a home or building and buying a building. Okay. So owning a home, so meaning is a mortgage a good debt? Depends on how you look at it. So when you have a mortgage that you can afford, obviously that's a good debt. So somebody like me, I look at a mortgage as a good debt because of what? Because my first property, I'm going to rent it out. I'm going to use it as an asset instead of me paying on it, instead of a liability. So I'm going to be using my first property as an asset. That way, whoever is renting it pays the mortgage. So that's a good debt. So it depends on how you look at it, and there are plenty strategies to go into real estate without acquiring too much debt, if any.
Okay, that sounds really good. Thank you for that. Yes. So the question here is how to get 800 score credit.
Man, 800. Well, to get to that 800, so credit score range from 300 to 850. That's how the range for. So to build credit, it takes time, and you want to start as soon as possible. So to get to that 800, first of all, you want to take a look at your credit. A lot of people are scared to look at their credit score. It's amazing how many people I come across and they're scared to look at their credit score.
Where do you look for your
Right. So when it comes to credit score, you have 5 elements that makes up a credit score. You have the payment history, which is the biggest factor. It amounts to 35% of your credit report. So payment history is very important. Keep your payments on time. Credit utilization, which is how you're using your credit cards. So you want to keep that under 30%. So 30% of your credit report is your credit utilization. And you have 10%, which is types of credit. I'm sorry, 10%, which is inquiries. So inquiries meaning when you go to the bank and try to ask for loans. You don't want to do that too much because it's going to hurt your credit. And another 10% is the credit length. That's 10%. And also the other 10% is your I'm losing this word. Another 10% is credit. Did I say length of credit? Length of credit, payment history, credit utilization, and inquiries. I think I already said inquiries. Okay. So those are the 5 things that you want to look for when it comes to credit. That's what you want to look for. So once you see that, keep your your payment history intact, and look for if there is any error on your credit report. So sometimes you want to check even your name. Check your name. This is very common for us, that are immigrant, because the system is not used to our name. The credit bureaus are not used to our name. So even a lot of you went to school where they mispronounce your name all the time. It happens over there too. So check for your name, see if it's correct. Also, your
Yes.
previous address. When you don't have your actual address on your credit report, that's also a mistake. It has to be updated. So those little things will end up increasing your credit score. Once they get corrected, that's how you increasing your credit score slowly. And after that, if you have any, like we talked about, collections or medical bills, evictions, repo, student loans, even, you name it, you can actually dispute those things. Because here's one thing people don't know. The credit bureaus, they get paid by the banks to put negative items on your credit report. So credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, these are not government entities. These are private companies that are run by people, created by people, just to collect your data, your information, and sell it to the banks. So as long as your credit is bad, they're gonna benefit. So what's gonna make us think? What's gonna make us think that they're gonna keep everything squeaky clean? Unless you come and dispute it, they're not gonna do anything. So you want to take a look at that as well. And remember, it takes time. It takes time to build credit to get to that 800. So those are the things that you want to look for when on your way to that 800.
Right. And just to go back a little bit, we have a question here that says, how or where do you look for your credit score without hurting it?
Awesome question. So to look at your credit score, some banks can provide that without it being an inquiry, so you can hurt your credit score. Some banks can do that for you. A lot of people I know use Credit Karma, but one thing you want to know about Credit Karma is not 100% accurate. It's a credit card marketing platform. They're there to sell credit cards. So the score that they show you, make sure you set in your head that it might be 10 point or 20 point off. You see? And you can also look at, we provide a platform as well that doesn't cost you money, or it doesn't dink your credit. You can look at it every time, 24/7, and it doesn't hurt your credit.
And can we find that on the link that you give us?
Yes, the link that I gave you is straight to that's. We actually have two websites that works together. So that is the business side, and the one that takes care of the credit is called UCES, UCESPP.net. UCESPP.net. So it's two companies, branching together and working for a common goal. So UCESPP.net. Yes.
UCESPP.net.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah, so I think that's very insightful for us to know, to use that as a resource. Because there are other, we see advertisements for Credit Karma and things like that.
Right.
And when you're not educated on it, you see that as the best resort to go there. So thank you for sharing that.
Right.
Yes, so then one more question.
Okay.
Yes, so from the audience we have, I'm guessing, so who or what agency do you report your information to the bank? I'm guessing.
Oh, so who agency report your information? I'm not sure if I understand it well.
I'm guessing
So do
like
you
with
mean?
the information,
Mhm.
yeah. With the information that you have that's on your profile, like what is
Mhm.
the most reliable agency for them to report it to your bank? I guess. But
Okay.
your services will be one of them. So
Yes, if I understand the question well, if she wanted to know, uh, I mean, who to go to when it comes
yes.
to, okay. Yes, I guess. I mean, that's what we do as well. That's what we do. So when it comes to that, I'm available to go into more details on how it works. You know, it doesn't cost anything for me to give you free information. That way, you know exactly how to make your decision. So you just mentioned about a private agency. Okay, that bring all the information. Right, right. Those private agencies are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And what I was trying to clear up is a lot of us, a lot of American thinks that these are government, agencies. These are not government agencies. These are private companies created by people that are ran privately, and their sole purpose is to collect your information and sell it to the banks. So what you want to know as well is Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. They're not all. They don't talk to each other. They're in separate states. That's why you see the credit scores are also different. And that's why they may report a loan on Experience and not report it on TransUnion. They may report things 30 times because we've seen it before. They report one item 30 times on Experian, maybe 2 times on Equifax. So that's why you want to check your credit report on time. They don't talk to each other. They don't speak to each other. So that's what you want to know as well.
Mm, okay, that sounds really good. Thank you for that. Thank
Mhm.
you. And I
Definitely.
know I cut you off with another question. So to just
Awesome.
finish up the how to get to 800 score, may you do that, please?
Right. So, what I want to tell people is here's one thing that I would love everybody to take away. So we live in a country that's built on credit. Not all of us are millionaires. Some of us may be millionaires if you are, call me. But when it comes to getting that credit, that 800, build right now. Do not wait, because in the future, you're going to need that car. You're going to need that apartment. You're going to need that house. So it takes time, is what I'm saying. It takes time to build a strong uh, credit report to get to that 800. You know, so when you check in those errors on your credit report, make sure your payment is always on time. Make sure when you have a credit card, when you have a limit. Let's say you have a limit of $1,000 on your credit card, right? Do not go over 30% of your credit card. Don't ever go over 30%. You know, a lot of us go and use 50, we use 800, and then we pay it off thinking, okay, I'm good. That actually slows the process to increase your credit score. Because, like I said, everything is based on the software. It's not a person directing how much your credit is going to increase, it's a computer. And the computer says 30% of your credit utilization is how you're using your credit card. So, respect the formula. So credit utilization, keep it under 30% every time. So when you have 1,000 in limits, don't go past 300 every time. You see? So that will help you in the long run. As you are being consistent, it will help you in the long run. And also tell other people, get educated when it comes to credit. Don't be afraid of a credit card. When you're afraid of it, get educated. I used to be afraid of credit cards. I like once upon a time, my dad told me credit cards were the devil, and that was my gospel. I never touched credit cards, and but now I use them because they benefit me. So
Right.
just know that it takes time. Yeah, yeah, it takes time, and also your kids. You can start building credit for your kids from the age 11. You know, so what you want to do as somebody who's well positioned, let's say you have an 800 credit score. You don't want your kid to be suffering, when it comes to credit. So what you want to do, get him a credit card in his name, and now you put him as an authorized user. This is another way to get to that 800. For somebody who doesn't have credit, put him on your credit card as an authorized user. What that means is you're going to call the credit card company and they're going to transfer your information, which means your payment history, credit utilization. They're going to transfer that to your kid. You see? So now that he's using his card, he's going to benefit your credit report as well, your information, and that's going to boost him so he can get more boost in his credit score. So that's another way as well for somebody who doesn't have credit and want to speed up the process a little bit. So know that it's not a quick thing, but it's gradually. So you want to build as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you for that. That was very insightful. Very insightful. Like that example that you gave us, like don't use over 30%. That's something I never knew before. So that was a really good gem that you gave us. Yeah. Someone said that they used their whole 1,000. Mercy. Yikes.
No, you want to keep that under 30.
Yeah, so now this is our final question. What is the difference between personal and business credit?
Personal and business credit. Good question. So, personal credit, is the one we talked about the most. Personal credit, when it comes to personal credit, it's based on your social security, your own social security. When it comes to business credit, it's based on your EIN, which is employer identification number, which is the number that it's kind of like a social security, but for your business. So that's one difference. Another difference is personal credit ranges from 300 to 850, when business credit ranges from 0 to 100. You see, so those are the differences. And one thing you want to know as well is when you go to apply for a business credit, they're also going to check your personal credit score. So you always want to work on your personal credit score as well. So those are the differences. Personal credit has to do with your social security number. Business credit has to do with your EIN that you will have when you create an LLC to start your company.
That's really good.
That's the difference.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the gems that you dropped. Audience, do we have any more questions? Because time is ticking. But yeah, that was a really good point. Like, yeah, personal business and business credit. And like, we are a platform where we help, bring in more information for all the entrepreneurs that are here. So knowing more about business credit is very, very interesting. So we have another question. Can you add your unborn children as an authorized user? I don't want to.
You want to bring them to the world first, Let's make sure they exist. But you can start as soon as 11 years old. 11 years old is when you can start making them authorized users. Yes.
Okay, we have another question.
All right.
How do we build a business credit to be able to borrow enough cash to scale up your business?
Good question. So I would say time. It takes time for everything. When it comes to building a business credit, it takes time as well. And you have strategies still, but I cannot stretch the value of time. So start as soon as possible, and build slowly. So when you establish your business credit, they're gonna report that to what they call the Dun and Bradstreet. That's kind of like the Equifax, TransUnion, but for credit, business credit. So when you start there, you want to build gradually. It's just kind of like a personal credit. As long as you are respecting the factors when it comes to business credit, your credit is going to go up and then you can borrow more money and scale your business. So it's just a matter of time, when it comes to credit. That's what it is.
You just mentioned a couple of names. May you repeat them again?
Dun and Bradstreet's. Dun and
Hmm.
Bradstreet's. Is that the one you meant? Yes.
Yes. And then you said
Dun
another
and
one?
Bradstreet. Yeah. Right. Dun and Bradstreet is the same as Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion when it comes to personal credit. So Dun and Bradstreet is what business credit reports to. Does that make
Oh, okay.
sense?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, those were all the questions from the audience. Yes, we don't
Okay.
have any more. But yeah, do you have anything else you would like for us to know? We have a lot of entrepreneurs here. We have a lot of people who are just like we're getting more familiar with credit as we go by the series. So any last
Mm-hmm.
gems, any last piece of advice,
All right.
anyone who's out there who's struggling with their debt, what would you say to them?
So I would say, as French speaking people, and I'm hoping I'm speaking to a lot of French speaking people, we all know when we come into this country, it gets a little scary because you don't know the language, so you don't have that confidence to learn stuff or to write, to ask the right questions. But that's not the case now. Right now, because I came in '03, we didn't have Facebook or, we didn't have social media. So it gets hard to get information. But now you have all kinds of information on the internet. You can connect with people. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. My Instagram is Mr. Comlin, Mr. Comlin. You see me on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm Comlin Ebe Diabo. So reach out to people when it comes to credit, when it comes to debt. Ask questions and, you know, do a lot of research and don't always base your judgment on just one response, or don't base it on what one person showed you. Always research, and when it comes to struggling with these negative items on your credit report, contact me. I can help you with that. I can give you all the information that you need. And reach out to me, DM me, or inbox me, or text me. I can, I will always give you some answers because I know how difficult it is. It's very, very, very difficult because I work with our community. Very difficult. And, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to share this information. That way, the ones that are coming up don't have to make the same mistake. It's serious like that. So that's what you want to do. Get online, connect with me, you have Google and everything. So don't be lazy when it comes to researching, do a lot of research so you can get rid of that. Don't think there's no solution. There's always a solution. Believe that there's always a solution. So that's what I will say. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope everyone was educated as much as I was because the gems that were dropped, oh my gosh. So yeah, thank you so much for educating us about debt, credit, about how to get an 800 score. And yeah, that is all for today. Thank you so much for coming. And
Thank
I
you.
hope that you're watching us next week.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yay! That was such a good session. I was so happy to learn so much. One more time, this is us, TEP Direct. You can definitely watch the replay on YouTube, and the replay will be available on Facebook if you need to go back and make sure all the notes that you took down were good. Be sure to follow us. Next week, we are having our TEPS member corner at 8 o'clock on the same platform. And if you are a business and you want to register your business on our platform, TEP Direct, be sure to email us. Bye, everyone. Have a nice week.